Watching last night's game and everything else. And so really for the fourth quarter, the audio assist for them. Team on. Yeah, we're here, we got to fight. Is that the Willie Green that they're fully engaged?
Yes.
Did you see that last night?
I did. He was trying to win a game, win or go home, and I thought it was one of the things that allowed for them to have kind of energy and juice they needed on the road. I mean, all I've been seeing in the playing games was the importance of being at home and home crowd and all of that, and then two teams go out and win on the road. So sometimes you need that kind of energy, push, confidence to help you come back from a team making a run on you. And it was classic Willie.
How do you separate the friendship that you have with him, knowing you still realize he's a great player on my second?
What do you mean, how do I separate it?
I mean, like
I don't have to separate it to go after him. He's still going to be my friend, but we're trying to win the game. So there's no separation of our friendship or any of that stuff. We're trying to win. And he's thinking the same thing. We're out there trying to compete and do the best we can for our teams, but we're going to be friends way after we're both done coaching. He's just day to day with the foot sprain. Still just day to day, nothing more to it. Yeah, but we didn't do anything 5-on-5, so I wouldn't say that he practiced. It was a lot of walkthroughs and a lot of scripting and that kind of thing, but there was no contact or 5-on-5 today. Yeah, I mean, they've had 98 second chance points in 4 games. So for defense that is as good as ours, to give up that many second chance points to a team is something we've talked about, we've shown. Our guys are aware of it. Now we've got to go out and do it. But they do some things that allow for them to get extra possessions. They send some big guys to the rim, and they start the game with 2 bigs. So our ability to keep them out of our paint. They're a heavy paint touch team, and they're playing a lot faster than the numbers. Like most teams have like high pace numbers. Theirs is probably not as high as their play would indicate, but a lot of times that pace breaks down the defense, and it doesn't always end up in points, but it does end up in offensive rebounding because they're all crashing the board. So we got to do a much better job in this series of keeping the ball in front of us. And then if we can do that, then we don't have to be in rotations. And that's the thing that puts you in tough rebounding situations.
Monty, when you look at how aggressive they extended to play Chris and Devin, how much is that short role going to be a benefit for DeAndre that you sort of develop for this?
Yeah, I think it's huge for us. One, he's gotten a lot better at it, but the second side, if we can get the ball to the other side and be efficient off of that, you don't necessarily have to cast up a 3. I think you can get the ball to the other side and do both, knock down the shot or attack the paint. But they have been pretty aggressive with their pick and roll coverages. They could change tomorrow, but that's something that we've talked about, and our bigs are ready for it. I think you just have to be sound in the short roll. If nobody's there, go score. If somebody steps up, you can make a play on the second side.
When you look back on these matchups you guys had in the regular season, you're missing DeAndre for a couple, Chris for a couple. Is that like kind of the regular season as a whole where it helps to have guys out and get different looks across?
I think maybe. I mean, it allows for other players to be in certain positions. I watched the game this morning, the last game we played them, and I had forgotten that Chris didn't even play. So maybe it does, but no matter how you slice it, I mean, they play the same way and we play the same way. The guys you have on the floor have to execute. And again, I can't reiterate enough. They have to be able to come up with the first missed shot and not give them extra possessions.
You guys have been playing so last night, whereas Memphis, they were how does that help prepare for first round matchup? You don't know you're going to play. So how do you make sure you're prepared when you don't know it's what the matchup is?
I mean, coaches on our team have their teams. So every coach has a group of teams. So it's not as bad as you would think. I mean, Coach Randall has New Orleans, Coach Bryant had the Clippers, so they were both ready. They just didn't know until about 2 minutes to go in the game which one was going to have to present their stuff, but it's not that bad. I mean, if you split up the teams, and most teams do it this way, you go into it prepared. It's just you can't present it to your team until today. That's the only negative, if you will, but I don't think it's that bad. If you're in this position, that means you're a good team, and you should be able to handle it.
But you think like if you had a couple more days to practice, have been going back advantage?
We don't, so I can't even. It's not like I mean, if you had more time to practice, yeah, but they don't either. You know what I mean? They're coming out of so I don't. I just think that we've earned this position. There's too many positives to look at than to. Of course, you'd love to have more days to prep, but it gave us time to work on us, and that's a positive. You know what I mean? So there were some things that we had to work on internally and corporately, but I guess to your point, there is some negatives to being in this position, but I just don't see it that way. I think the play-in tournament has given the league a lot of juice, if you will, and those games are pretty exciting. So I see it both ways.
Monty, I'm sure you take a ton of prep time. Did you start to get not antsy, but itching it all to play a game again?
Yeah, I mean, I was ready to go a few days ago, but I think you have to manage that and use the time wisely. We told our guys when we came back from the summer that the short break that we had, that was earned. You can look at it like, man, we're back in the gym already. And I'm like, well, if you have short breaks, that means you're a pretty good team. I feel the same way about this past week. It was a week that was earned. And I think you have to take advantage of it. But to your point, I do feel like, after 3 or 4 days of listening to me go over the same drills and hitting the same point, I'm sure everybody's ready to play a game and get back on the floor so they don't have to listen to me for another day or two.
Monty, when you look at CJ for his 2 months in New Orleans, how have you seen him embrace running an offensive big point guard?
It's just a different dynamic. He has, I don't want to overstate it, but there's not many guys that bring the ball up that can shoot it the way that he can. I mean, it's like Steph, Dame, those kinds of guys. So your pickup points are so much different than they are with most of the point guards in the league. And then he has the ability to play in pick and roll, and he's big. It's not like he's 6'1", so that poses some challenges for your team because you have a guy that can play in pick and roll, a guy that can play one-on-one, and a guy that can hit like every shot imaginable. He's one of the rare guys that can dribble 10, 12 times and still get off a clean shot. Most times guys dribble that much, they're tired at the end of the game. It doesn't seem to work that way with him. So he's changed their team for sure. And they lost their young point guard earlier in the year, so they've had to make these adjustments, and he was perfect for that adjustment.
So when you look at teams that come in this situation, what's the challenge in that?
Yeah. I missed most of your deal because they're back there screaming. Can you say it again for me, D?
I was saying that it's the team that's got some confidence.
Yeah.
Trying to make a come up.
Yeah.
Now they got some confidence not going to post challenges.
It's just that, you're facing a team that won an emotional game. They're used to playing in a tough environment. And so to me, the way you combat that is not giving them life with, turnovers and extra possessions from offensive rebound. I think that's the thing that, you know, if we can do that, it can start the wear down effect that we've been, you know, pretty good at this year. And then you just have to have an appropriate fear of the team that you're playing against. You know, Pop taught us that a long time ago, having an appropriate fear of your opponent. And that forces you to play as hard as you can, to lock into all your coverages, to do everything you can to win the game. But they're certainly coming off of a high, and we respect that.
How long really knows the intricacies of this program and how long you know kind of the way Willie tips? Is there more of a kind of an adjustment chess match than a normal series?
Maybe. Yeah, there may be. I mean, Willie helped us build this program, and a lot of the things they do are what we do. So a lot of it at those points in the game where you know what the play that's coming is dealing with the counter. And again, like if you stop the play because you know it, you got to finish the play with a rebound. I keep going back to that, but that's the deal for us. But I'm sure there's going to be some things that they know about us that are shared from Willie and vice versa. But at the end of the day, it's always going to come down to finishing plays, whether scoring or rebounding. And at this point in the year, after game 1 or 2, like everybody knows what everybody's doing. And that's where hopefully the talent and what you've done during the year and your system can help you get over that hump.
Concerned that looking at the free throws, and attempts this season, playoff could be more half court. These people were fouled. Is that a concern going into the playoffs?
I hadn't really looked at it that way because we've been able to win so many games, but I would like to get there more because I see the advantages of setting your defense, being able to sub without calling a timeout. Like those are things that you can do from a free throw environment. I'm not like overly concerned about it because we've been able to play through that. I think Chris gives us the ability to get to the line, but we can, force the issue by attacking the paint more, but I don't know what else we can do. I mean, we do have guys that get there, and we do play a physical style of basketball, but I'm just not sure how do we manufacture more free throws. So that's a tough one for me, but I do see the advantages of getting there.
But you mentioned about home court advantage and the fact that this is that where they are. But last night when they went under 27-7, you in the fourth, the Clippers come back. It seemed like rather than like last year when you were in that position, feeding off the home crowd's energy, even though you were the visiting team. How do you combat that? If they're being in having home court advantage.
Yeah, I just think I keep going back to the same thing. Like, don't give them extra possessions. I mean, Nance last night had 7 offensive rebounds. And when you're on the road, like that can give you life, getting extra possessions. Alvarado came in, I think he had like 2 or 3 offensive rebounds in one play. If we can take those plays out, we give ourselves a chance to, keep our crowd on our side. And for us, when we get stops and we get out in transition, it ignites our crowd. And I don't know of a gym or an arena that's more electric than our place, especially in the playoffs. So I know our guys are looking forward to that. All right.
Thank you, Monty.
Thank you. Thank you.